My athleticism is dead. But I do think I'm extremely competitive, and I think that has helped me as a person in life, and definitely the pursuit of whatever goal I have. And I definitely think that youth sports planted those seeds. I feel like it's the pain and trauma that comes from growing up in a city like Baltimore. All of the murder, all of the uncertainty, all of the different things you have to face, from housing to law enforcement to whatever else is about to be taken away from you. I think sports is a great way to not have to deal with it.
You cannot take basketball out of Baltimore.
100 ball players in a room from all over. How you spot the Baltimore guy?
How he walk and how he talk.
Yo, we do this shit a little different than everybody else. We just a little tougher. Like, we tougher than everybody else. There's not an equal. People were coming to see us play because our coach was crazy, our uniforms were different. That Baltimore toughness translated through the game of basketball is a part of the culture of our city.
Y'all tough-minded, y'all gritty. And you ain't taking no for no answer. You know, you're gonna do what you gotta do to win.
No one in the world will ever call me a basketball star. However, basketball has been as important to me as my education. When we just like pull the lens back and look at all the different ways that society has failed poor people, sports has kind of been there in a way to pick up those pieces. Basketball is how a lot of us got our first mentors. Like, a person could teach you how to be an adult. Basketball coaches, they just don't coach kids. They're teaching you life skills, how to write a check in, how to tie a tie in, how to be a person of your word. Hey, what's up?
Hey, how you doing?
How you feel?
I'm good.
You chilling?
Thank you for having me. Welcome to my home. When I was growing up, we didn't really have trainers. I remember getting this scar right here, right? Because we played outside. Right. So when you went baseline, you had the gate right there, and you just played right through it, you know? So that was our training. Like, that training was getting out of school, doing your homework, going to the backyard and playing ball. Everybody coming from one neighborhood to whoever's house and playing 2-on-2, 3-on-3, 4-on-4s.
Sports participation is declining in America. A little more than a third of kids ages 6 to 12 play a team sport on a regular basis. All sports are seeing declines. Golf is the only growing youth sport. In East Baltimore, where I grew up, we got a D+ when it comes to sports programs, facilities, participation, and coaching. How did we get here? Less kids are on the courts, but at the same time, there's an intense focus on the elite level. We poured up on Omar Smith and Omar Jr. Omar Smith, the Pops, just won Coach of the Year at Baltimore City College, where he's the head basketball coach. His name always comes up as having the best jump shot in Baltimore City history. Not only has he been able to play Division I basketball, getting himself there and working really hard and having a career, but his son is on the same journey. And his son has the luxury of just getting to understand what Dad went through and what Dad had to see.
The best feeling in the world playing with my son. You know, it's like the rebirth of myself without the height, that, of course. The way he got all his height from.
You ever had them conversations where your father would be like, back in my day, he hit you with those?
Yeah, a few times.
You feel like it was tougher back in his day, or you feel like it's tougher now?
I don't know. I feel like getting attention as far as like going to colleges and stuff, I feel like it's easier for us, and I feel like it was harder for them. But honestly, I feel like basketball in that era was also tougher.
You know, we just wanted to play ball, to get out of the city, to travel with a group of friends and you know, to play against some guys from somewhere else that didn't know you was enough for us. To get a new pair of sneakers, a new pair of shorts was, you know, so it's different. It's definitely a different dynamic from then till now. I played professionally for about 5 or 6 years in Germany until he was born. And when I came home and I kept, you know, I was still going around the neighborhood and playing. When he got about 5, he started to want to leave the house and go with me, so. You know, he started going with me, and he started picking up on it.
What happens if you don't have a dad like Omar guiding you through the elite side of the sport at the AAU level? And what about the kids who just want to play for fun? Is there any room for them?
There you go, right there. Mo Hatton has been my brother since I was a child, and he went on to be a megastar at St. John's University to the point where they had him on a billboard, and he was like the first thing you saw when you pulled up into Manhattan. As soon as you get it off the turnpike, it said like Marcus Hatton, because like Manhattan, his basketball IQ was just out of this world. His physical ability to match. He's a great person with a lot of knowledge and always willing to share it. What is your take on the current state of AAU basketball? Being as though you ran the shit when you played, so how do you look at it now that you had a chance to just pull back and reflect on your childhood?
It's definitely a big difference from when I played until now. Now it's more marketable. I think it's solely for that purpose. The next upcoming star, we say LeBron James or Ja Morant, Zion Williamson. And it's all about the endorsements. You see everybody being sponsored by Nike, Under Armour, or Adidas. And these kids are being used in that sense.
Is the fun gone? Is it so much of a business that you feel like the kids ain't having as fun?
Because now we are making kids, oh, this kid is 2037. Number one player, 2037. This kid is the number one player. So these kids have to hold up that end of the bargain. So it's almost like it's no fun. It's almost like a job at this point.
I was always of the mindset I have to keep a ball in my trunk and basketball shorts on. So always keep a pair of basketball shorts underneath my clothes. When I got married, I had basketball shorts on underneath. It's just like, just a part of who I am is I'm never gonna be not ready to play basketball. And I know it's crazy. I'm not a player as much as I am a coach now, but even still, I always want to be ready to play at all times. It's just, I don't know, it's just in me.
Me always being a fan of basketball, Sam Brantley, he was a walking bucket, right? You call somebody a walking bucket, they could score at will. His name really blew up in coaching during his time in Poly because he's winning all these championships back to back before he took the job as the director of Team Mello. So he's one of the people who I always admire, not just as a man, but in the basketball world.
When I played, we first sought out basketball development in our neighborhoods at our rec center, and we represented, our neighborhood with our rec center in citywide leagues. And then AAU, in our mind, were the best players on those teams and rec centers that came up in their neighborhood, got together and represented our city on a national level through AAU. When superstars were born out of cities like Baltimore, or even just NBA players, the biggest example would be Carmelo Anthony from here, people saw that there was potential to become rich off of basketball. And when corporations saw that, communities saw that, the entire country saw that, the world saw that eventually, corporate interests wanted their hands in youth basketball development. So naturally, Nike, Adidas, and eventually Under Armour took over the platform of AAU basketball. Now the highest level of development is at a privatized gym with privatized training through corporate, and the goal is to get on these corporate sponsored teams. Cloverdale. It's been a proving ground in our city, I don't know, forever. I don't remember Cloverdale not being a part of Baltimore basketball culture. Like, to me, you're not a part of Baltimore basketball if you didn't play on these courts. I would say, nice day in the summer, you can come out here during the day and see pickup with hundreds of people out here, and then you come out at night and it'd be leagues.
Yo, you better not lose.
Oh yeah, if you lose, it's over.
You're not getting back on.
And both courts.
I feel like that would be the A court. I don't know. I could be wrong.
That is the
that would be the
A court for sure.
Yeah.
So that'd be the court that the better players are on.
So you'll find me on this one.
Dome is the mecca of Baltimore basketball. Only the best players get to play on that court at night, Midnight Madness back You know, back in the day when I was coming up, that tournament showcased the best this city had to offer, and they was one of those players that put in work at the Dome.
This is the first place, this was Melo Frey, I took him at. This is where he blew up, 15 years old. Midnight Madness. You know, Tay was over here, Bill Boehner brought him in here at 15, skinny, long kid, and he blew it away, playing against like the Sam Cassells, Michael Lloyds, and all of them. You know, that was his first, you know, he was from West. I picked him up, brought him over here.
Carmelo was playing basketball, and you was there. You had an understanding of the world even before him, because you've been around longer. He could be in his neighborhood, be on his block, playing basketball, going to Robert C, and then playing for Mount Royal, and then working hard enough to get picked up by like an AAU team that's gonna help him get exposed to different people. And I think one of the things that we've been trying to figure out is if kids can still do that to this day. Does it work like that now?
Well, it doesn't, because the city has no kids. It's like surrounded, and then the rec centers aren't open.
What you mean when you said there's no kids in the city, as far as like
they're not playing basketball
they're not playing
anymore.
because the recs?
No rec centers. Like when I was 17 on the team, we have 2 guys that are from Baltimore City. And that's unheard of back in the day, everybody. And that was that grittiness and toughness that you had. Look, we got outside court, we got outside courts everywhere. You don't see them playing. You know, you were just at Cloverdale, how did it look?
Nobody.
Empty.
Since the 80s when I was coming up, Baltimore has lost over 2/3 of its rec centers. Today, only about 40 remain open.
It's a business now. It wasn't then.
Okay.
Let's say that, it's a business. Definitely a business.
Don't matter
But
what ideas you got, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
We all know that. They're not going to bring it back. It's not in their financial interest to do it, and that's what they operate from. There's so many people that are involved in the push for elite level that becomes a lot of conflict between like the parent and the coach, the parent and the program and the school. It's commodified too early, and it's looked at in the sense of community around the game at the high school level has dropped because of that.
So meeting Dante Bright on East Miami Street. East Miami Street is extremely important to me because I grew up down the hill. Dante Bright was a superstar to me growing up. If I got a chance to meet Dante Bright when I was 12 or 13 years old, no bullshit, I would have asked for an autograph. He was one of the #1 ranked players in the country at the time. He was always like #1 or #2. If Dante Bright wasn't #1, then it was Jason Kidd. You know, sometimes we couldn't get into the games when Dante played at Dunbar because they were so packed. Sometimes we had to sneak in the games. He had a great career at UMass. He has a wealth of knowledge about people and how people are, and how people respond, because he had the opportunity to master what it's like trying to come up as a basketball player, to see how they treat you when they at the top, and to learn how to navigate that space without having a million NBA mentors hanging around to show you the way. We're talking about training and talking about the power of like being able to get in front of people and actually play to get better, right? So I was talking to Bay. He said he was watching the game, and he said he felt like some of the kids they're not going against other kids enough because the guy went to the basket and he said he Euro stepped for no reason. He said it was like nobody under the basket.
They don't know how to translate it. They just doing what they see. There's no translation to the court. Now that goes to IQ. That goes to IQ of the game. You want a Euro step from half court?
Yeah.
If that's what your trainer teaching you, then you don't have to Euro step every time. That's what I'm trying to tell a kid. Everything, like you said, get to on a Euro step. It's sometimes just a straight line. Training is good only if you apply it the right way and your kids can translate your training, what you teach them, to the court. But train just not with the back. What about the IQ? What about breaking down video, situations?
It seems like you give them a lot of life lessons too.
That's what it is. How could I come back and give what I'm giving without those life lessons that I learned and start from Buckley from the beginning? And I'm gonna be honest, UMass, John Calipari and his staff. Refuse to lose. You know where I come from. We're in the gym where I grew up at. It's my neighborhood. I'm back in this neighborhood, so now I want them to see my face. And will see I'm not somebody out here doing the wrong stuff. I'm a positive role model because another Dante Bright round that needs somebody.
regardless what the age you just need. It might not even want to play basketball, just somebody to talk to. That's the part I get. That's why my drive to get up every day. I don't care if it's one kid in the gym want to come to the gym. I'm going to the gym with that kid. That kid might need that.
My coaching friends are like, they don't know what to do.
What do you tell your girls?
Hard work, gotta be your aesthetic. It can't be your sexuality. This can't be a sometimes thing if you wanna be elite, because you gotta think, the elites are getting knocked off. So what is gonna make you different? Are you a good person? Can somebody speak for you in another room without you being there?
Yeah, that's fire.
For the first time in history, players have control. Student athletes can now get compensated for their online platforms and skills through NIL, name, image, and likeness.
If you look at Angel Reese, she is capitalizing off of it more than anybody. She is using her image and her name and her likeness to profit. So that's why she said she's in no rush to go to the WNBA, because she's making more than the top players in the WNBA.
Back in the day, NIL deals could have helped so many ball players from poverty stay in college instead of leaving for the NBA. In the 90s, Chris Webber didn't even have enough money to go out on a date, but he could walk by a sneaker store selling his Michigan jersey for an amount of money that he couldn't afford.
You could always go overseas back then or play in these minor leagues, but they're on another level now. So now you got these two-way contracts with the NBA. They're adding an extra one this year, so it's now 3. So you get like a two-way deal, but you might be a guy that's not that good, but you made a name for yourself on social media. So you're already getting some money coming in. You get what I'm saying? Coming into college, you'll get something set up for you, and it benefits them to stay in college. But they're gonna make more money. You got kids in college, 24, 25, 26 years old, because they make out better in college. They're making money and they're not really a big time pro prospect. You get what I'm saying? So they make more money.
That's something that is kind of messed up, because now we in a situation where you can make money off your name, image, and likeness, but so many of our kids in the city are not. They're not playing ball the way they were playing ball.
Yeah.
When this is kind of the best time to do it, especially as an amateur athlete.
It's not for everybody though, that's the thing.
Okay.
You gotta be that guy.
Okay.
Either that guy on social media to build your presence up. That's what I tell these kids now. Build your social media up, if that's what you want. You know, build it up, get the followers. But you just can't be a random guy. I want NIL, what y'all got for him? I'm looking at you like, huh?
Yeah.
What you want? Like, it's nothing there for everybody. But then you got the transfer portal. And that's kind of messing kids up, because colleges are going to the portal. So if you were solid coming out and you went to Morgan as a freshman, put them numbers up. Now Maryland wants you to come there. You could go right to Maryland. So instead of Maryland recruiting our kids from the AU program, they're going to the portal. So the scholarships are getting a little scarce.
I still feel like I'm better than a lot of guys that's playing now, for the simple fact I know how to play basketball. But are you marketable?
This game is always evolving. The kids are different. They're not the same as the kids in my era. You can't just tell them to go out and meet me at the basketball court. Some kids don't want to play outside. You know, I came from the outside era, playing outside. Some kids don't play outside.
A lot of kids don't play outside anymore.
Yeah, some kids don't even play, period. They just train. You remember we were talking about that?
Yeah.
Some kids literally just don't play. So it's just train, train, train. And now you've trained your mind to only do and react to certain things versus being in real life, real time, and actually competing and playing the game. We have to have programming to appeal to each kid. The most elite kid, the developing kid, the transitioning kid.
Being an influencer seems to be a more realistic way out than landing an athletic scholarship. When you're from poverty, daddy doesn't always have a company where you can work over the summer. The court or the field might be the only place where you get exposure to community, leadership, and teamwork. You can't just wake up one day and want to be a champion. It takes hard work. Youth sports instills that value. In a place like Baltimore and all over America, we need to make these opportunities real options for everyone.